Don't you be coming out of there. No, no, no. Ah. Oops. Hello and welcome to this edition of Wake and Bake News. And I'm your host, Shampoo VTA Kelly Davis. And I'm smoking on some of my plants outside. I'm testing. So far they taste good. Nice white ash. I got some keef, I guess you could call it keef. I'm not sure what it was, but looks like keef came off of them. I've been looking at them with my little microscope, and I see that there are trichomes forming, but they're very small. So if they're, I doubt very much that was all keef. And as you can see, this is all very brittle, uh, scraggle branches that were at the bottom. So since I'm out of weed, I thought I might as well go clean those off and dry them out this weekend for Monday show because I'll be out, you know. So this is what we're smoking on. I'm not too unhappy with it. Pretty good. I'm very happy with these plants. They are probably some of the healthiest plants I've ever fucking grown. I mean, I've grown some sad, pathetic, tortured looking plants. So these guys are, I'm very proud of them. At least healthy. And that's a lot of leaf and stuff. But I mean, it's not making me gag, cough. It's great. I'm very happy with it. And I've been using my worm tea and some Miracle Grow for tomatoes and vegetables. And see how nice? Not bad. And I haven't gotten any strange discoloring. I did notice a guy in Hawaii doing a Miracle Grow experiment was having, it looked like maybe some nutrient burn. Like, and I can understand that. When you're growing like in pots and stuff, and it looked like that's what he was doing. Or the grow he was at, it would show your grow, right? Anyway, so he was looking at this grow and looking at the Miracle Grow experiment, and yeah, I could see how you could easily over fertilize, and then you end up having the flush. And that was what I found was, boy, fertilized flush, fertilized flush. Is you get that shit built up in there and it really affects your plants very quickly. Okay, so my first story for today, and again, I'm going to go on a little bit of a theme here that I found going on this morning, is about Malia Obama once again. Now, I don't know if this is the news in England, because it is the Daily Mail, trying to drum up some sort of conflict between Malia Obama and her father, but they mentioned that they were coming back from Martha's Vineyard, Martha Stewart's, Martha's Vineyard, and their body language communicated that she was more close to her mom, or I don't know, But the idea is that they want to try to give the impression that Malia got a talking to by her father, President Obama, over smoking weed. And I'm like, that must have been the lamest fucking talking to ever. Is that like his beer summit? Was it a beer summit they had over marijuana? Because this guy's sitting in a pretty fucking hypocritical position to be talking that kind of shit. And I'm not saying that parents that haven't done things can't discipline their kids, but you better tread carefully, because there is a real quick moment where you look like a fool if you don't. Ozzy Osbourne, very good point, case in point, in telling his son not to smoke weed. Very good parenting. But coming from Ozzy Osbourne, difficult to swallow. And every parent that ends up doing this says, what? Don't do what I did. I screwed up my life and smoked marijuana and what? Became president? Became Ozzy Osbourne? Are you kidding? I could see that conversation. If I, as a smart teenager myself, I would have ripped you a new asshole with that kind of fucking reasoning. Do as I say and not as I do never worked for any fucking body. Now, I don't know if this is true, that there was this conflict, but let's take a look at the story anyway and find out. And then we'll have about 3 more of these joints. I might be able to actually start feeling something. Just you wait till we get home. Stern-faced Obama keeps his distance from hard-partying Malia as the first family heads home from Martha's Vineyard. I'm sorry, but I kind of don't get that from these images. Maybe they're just really desperate in England for some kind of controversy. I get more like this is Mr. Hobbs takes a vacation and this is when they're coming home and he's complaining about it. And then the secretary says, should I book you for next year? And he's like, yes, same beach house every day. It was a wonderful trip. We loved it. Changed our family became closer because of it. If you haven't seen Mr. Hobbs Takes a Vacation, it's a great movie. It's fucking hilarious. You'll find out more about a scatterbox or whatever they call it, little boat than you ever wanted to know. Okay. First family returns to Washington today after their annual summer vacation to Martha's Vineyard. As they boarded Air Force One, Obama tended to younger daughter Sasha as Malia stuck with her mom. Malia was seen twerking at Lollapalooza, and a video appeared to show her smoking marijuana at the festival. Last week, the 18-year-old was reportedly escorted from a party on the island, broken up by police. President Barack Obama's love for his oldest daughter, Malia, has always been apparent, whether it was serenading her on her 18th birthday or choking up during her high school graduation. But as the first family left Martha's Vineyard on Sunday, the president kept his distance from the 18-year-old, who appears to be enjoying her gap year before she heads to Harvard in 2017. At one point, Obama turned to address Malia, who responded with a smirk before he tended to 15-year-old Sasha instead. Malia seemed to steer clear of her father and walked along with Michelle, exchanging smiles with her mom, while the two sported matching shirt dresses and similar sneakers. President Barack Obama's love for his oldest daughter, Malia, has always been apparent. Okay. I guess they're describing the photos like Viewmaster. It's dumb. Dumb. There could be anything happening here. You don't know what's happening here. These images don't mean anything, but let's just read into them anyway. The news is so fucking lame and dumb. I mean, does anybody mention that Sasha looks like she's wearing a very hippie outfit with paisleys and stuff? Okay, the first family returns to Washington, D.C., concluding their last jaunt to Martha's Vineyard before the end of Barack Obama's presidency. Despite the 16 days of rest and relaxation, the president might have a lot on his mind in between Malia's gap year shenanigans and the catastrophic flood in Louisiana. Obama is readying himself to visit Louisiana, where 13 people have already died in the catastrophic flood that damaged about 40,000 homes and displaced 4,000 people. Despite the devastation, Obama refused to cut his vacation short, as political opponents and a Louisiana press, the Louisiana press pressured him to acknowledge and confront the disaster. Oh, they're always trying to fucking look for Obama's Katrina. They will never live George Bush not reacting to Katrina down. So they are always hoping that there's going to be some great flood on the white man that the black president won't show up for, and we can all stop talking about Katrina. It's so lame. They are so pathetic right now. The Republicans are so hobbling on crutches. Republican president nominee Donald Trump filled the void. Yeah, his rotund body filled the void. Touring the ravaged area of Baton Rouge. Yeah, we saw those photos, and handing out Play-Doh. Because, after all, that is the secret ingredient to Eggs Erroneous. For any of you that are an Ernest Goes to Camp fan. With running mate Mike Pence to help unload a supply truck. Yes, of Play-Doh. After a flood, give the children Play-Doh. They can rebuild your home with it. Make meals. 10 amazing things you can do with Play-Doh by Donald Trump. And now we're looking at their outfits, because this is what the news has to do with their life. And then, look, they tell you how to buy the dress that Malia is wearing. Tell me that this child is not being prepped for her own, career and her own, a manager and PR and all this kind of stuff. The whole thing to me, in my opinion, just, and I'll go to the actual video for that. opinion is this is much ado about nothing. This is an attempt to make Malia in the press through some sort of a press packet, make her, now she's come of age. She's a young girl. She's either going to be having sex with somebody that Obama doesn't like a rapper or some shit like that, or she's going to be doing drugs or partying with friends that Obama doesn't like. Who has not seen this fucking story before? Especially coming out of Hollywood or Disney. Disney with all their... How do you think you turn Annette Funicello into a beautiful bombshell on the beach? She got, it don't happen easy like it used to. She got to have a moment where she falls off her high horse, get it? So that's my opinion about it, is that this is all a press packet. This is all planned. They're selling her dress now. Come on. But I found an interesting opinion from a rapper called Bizarre, and talking about the whole situation with Malia and her father and the position that they're in. And, if Obama was my dad, I just want to say this for me, and he tried to come at me with some kind of, I don't like you smoking that marijuana, the man wouldn't survive. He would need the fucking CIA to protect himself from me. I would open my mouth and fire would come shooting out. I would be like, I would open with, "You've got to fucking be kidding." It would just be like he put his face in a blowtorch if he came at me as a teen, because I did not let... My father and I had a few arguments. I'm a stubborn kid. I wouldn't have put up with no shit like that. You would have never heard the end of it, Obama, if you did that to your daughter. I don't think that's what he did. That would have been ridiculous. Yes, that's right. The guy that's well known for being in the Choom Gang wrote about it in his book, sailed on it into the fucking presidency. Now gonna tell her, and before you go to Harvard, lay off that wacky tobacco. See what I'm saying? Okay, so let's take a look at Bizarre. Talk about this, because I thought he had some interesting little comments to make about it, and plus some insight that apparently the person handing her the joint was a young rapper. So perhaps there is a relationship going on there, and really that's what the talking to is about. Maybe that's it.
Now let me ask you this. You're an avid smoker.
Right.
Did you see the video where President Obama's daughter was caught smoking at Lollapalooza?
No, I didn't see that video. I seen the video where she was twerking.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's another video that came out the same, I want to say a day or two later, and it was somebody that captured her smoking a joint. I think it was with Chance the Rapper's brother, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. It's cool, man. What do you expect, man? It's 2016, man. It's the home of the hipsters, man, and the party goers. Like, what makes her any different? Obviously she decided that she wants to live her life and do her. So, what do you expect? Like, this is what the wave is. This is what the music is nowadays. So, but I understand that it's Obama's daughter, so they're gonna look at her differently. But I say, fuck it. Smoke as much as you want.
Honestly, it's just all wild speculation, isn't it? Nobody knows what actually goes on in the first family's household, and what any sort of walking to a helicopter in clothes means. You know what I mean? Give me a fucking break. But anyway, it really goes to how everybody feels about their kid going off to college, doesn't it? Isn't this all supposed to be, whether it is a fake narrative, whether it's a PR stunt, or something so that Malia comes into her own and has her own career as an actress or a singer or whatever she's going to want to do, right? Or a lawyer, who knows what she's going to want to do, but she's going to have that minute of fallen from grace in order to separate herself from her father and his legacy. Otherwise, she's going to be stuck in the same boat fucking Hillary Clinton is with her husband, which is, how the hell do you live down what the dude did in his career when you come up to bat? It's going to be all like, it's got nothing to do with you, but you got to still stand there by the podium while he says how sorry he is that he had sex outside of his marriage. You know, it's got nothing to do with you, but there you are. I support him. I'm so lucky. Yeah. So, you know, the whole thing with Malia Obama, whether it's fake or not, it kind of talks about how fearful parents are about starting their kid in college. And yeah, if you've been an overly protected parent, you should fucking be afraid because you set your kid up, stupid. And I've seen it. At UCSB, I have seen it. I saw it in the 80s, man. I wasn't going to college. I was just there hanging out with my boyfriend, my friends from high school that I was still friends with. I went up, go, you know, party at the campus or, you know, hang out while they're studying, play Dungeons and Dragons. That's what really. I played hours and hours of Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, when I talk about partying, it isn't, I'm a nerd. It's not the same. You know, when I party, I mean, I literally party with swords and spears and we go after monsters, you know, or we play games or something, or we're playing a video game. But partying for us is, you know, like we built a guitar. You know, it's not like the same as like partying like at a rave or something. I've been to concert and I've never been to a rave in my life. Anyway, it all goes to that fear, doesn't it? Your kid's starting college, you know, and what's going to happen now that they're out of your protective custody? And maybe the college is a little more liberal about relationships between young ladies and young men because they're 18 and it's none of their fucking parents' business any fucking more, you know? And so here you got the parent protective sending the kid into college. And like I said, I seen this. Sorry, I was rolling the joint, so it's a little distracting. And here's a mom putting up, I swear to God, it must have been 200 tiny little stuffed animals or something up on a shelf. Bink, 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 like a psychotic woman. This is what little Susie, I don't know this chick's name that I saw her mom doing this, but fucking there she is putting the shit on the shelf. And within 6 hours of her parents being gone, just about every kid on that floor was drunk off their ass. And within a month, they were used to being that way. You know, and they kissed their little world of dollies and mommy's protection and everything goodbye. Another thing I heard, the opening day, the first day that students were moving into their dorm rooms at Francisco Torres, right, in UCSB, a dad going, "What? The guys and the girls share a bathroom? I didn't know this. Really? You didn't bother to research the guys and their kids going?" You know, some of you parents, I don't know about you guys. I've seen some of your work. I worked in the school district for 25 years. I've seen what happened to my friends that went to college. I saw the way their families reacted, what happened to them years ago, years after. Did they exactly get the career that they went to college for? No. You know, not a one that I could pick out. So, yeah, you should be fucking worried if you've been overly protective of your kid and a little bit too dismissive of how kind of lame this entire system is. And now you're way out on a limb, aren't you? You got to let go of your little darling in the system that you trust so much. And maybe this is the wrong time to kind of wise up about that, huh? So, yeah, being an overly protective parent is not a fucking good idea. I've seen kids crash and burn because parents protected them. As soon as they got out from underneath that protection, they went hog wild and didn't know when to stop. Just didn't know when to stop or how. Even their friends are like, "God damn. What is wrong with you?" You know? So I got a story here about how colleges, in-state college, is moving towards decriminalizing marijuana, because one of the things that the kids should be able to do is to use a safer drug rather than trying to have a drinking contest every fucking weekend. You know how they get the alcohol? You got these wonderful things called exchange students. And they have licenses from other countries that say that they can buy alcohol because they're younger. You know, you can buy alcohol at a younger age. They just go to the liquor store. And liquor stores in the area know what's up. Come on. College. Duh. You know? So if they're going to use something, why don't you try to give them an option that is less fucking devastating to their fucking lives? Because I'll tell you what, I have dealt with some of these adults coming out of these colleges, fucking young ladies with college degrees, partying, drinking. They don't know when to stop. It's time to grow up, little girl. It's time to fucking grow up, little girl. Time to fucking get off. You got a kid. You got a career now. It's time to put the binge drinking on the weekend's over. You know? I understand what these parents are going through. Not that I have sent my child off to college. I'm sorry. I don't think I believe in college anymore. My family used to believe very deeply in education, worked very hard to get out of the woods of West Virginia in order to get educations for the family. But you can't inherit an education. That's one thing I learned. That means that every family has to start from scratch, ground zero with every kid. Unless your father has a business or he has property, you can't fucking inherit a fucking education from your father. Think about that. That's a lot of money down the fucking tube. Sure, they have a wonderful time having this great education and doing all this stuff, but if you don't get one too, see what I'm saying? In-state college, a move towards decriminalizing marijuana. A Penn State University student walks in front of Old Main on main campus in State College, the latest municipality in Pennsylvania to move towards decriminalizing marijuana. Call it a victory for pot smoking in a college town, or view it as a law change just confusing enough to land some students living on or near Penn State University's main campus in bigger trouble than they envisioned. Just as the fall semester starts, State College is becoming the latest municipality in Pennsylvania to move towards decriminalizing marijuana. A new ordinance, effective September 7th, will give borough police discretion to treat possession and use of 30 grams or less as a summary offense rather than a misdemeanor violation, or of state law punishable by up to 30 days in jail and a $500 fine, and potentially loss of student financial aid. Under the ordinance, police can issue non-traffic citations similarly to being caught in public with an open container, fines of $250 for possession and $350 for consumption in public will not endanger federal financial aid. Police and campus officials said. Proponents say the measure approved August 1st by Borough Council makes more sense than jeopardizing someone's job or scholarship over a relatively minor offense. They say that view is becoming mainstream, citing similar ordinances enacted as close as Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, as well as in a growing number of states that have lessened penalties or legalized small amounts. There has definitely been a sea change in attitude, said State College Mayor Elizabeth Gorham. It's not seen as a serious threat to our students here, Even so, those emboldened to light up on or near campus after September 7th, telling themselves, hey, it's just fine, may want to first consider a catch with the new ordinance. Actually, a few of them. For starters, only part of Penn State University's Park campus is in State College. The campus of 460,000 students also sits in parts of College, Ferguson, Patton, and Boehner Township, Benner, which have no such ordinance, nor does the rest of Center County. Even if those municipalities enact something similar, Penn State says it is still obliged under federal law to treat marijuana as a misdemeanor or on campus, or risk losing financial aid and research subsidies. That begs the question, is sneaking it just one hit from a joint in a campus dorm room now a bigger threat to one's academic future than strutting down a busy borough street at noon getting high? Is it better to be spotted lighting up by borough cops in a municipal garage than by university police outside Beaver Stadium on game day? Some can't resist poking fun, judging by comments posted to Onward State, an alternative student-oriented news site. The borough needs to outline its boundaries in bright red paint, one reader said, or in big green plants. Whatever works, said another. Then there is the matter of paraphernalia. Apparently nobody bothered to address it in the ordinance. Until that's changed, anyone stopped in the borough with an amount of marijuana small enough to escape criminal prosecution can still be charged with a misdemeanor for carrying rolling papers or a pipe. With classes due to start today, and with students already expressing confusion, Penn State administrators sought to clarify things with a question and answer sheet devoted to Ordinance 2078. They said, reducing penalties does not mean marijuana is legal in State College and that the ordinance may not apply where you live. According to the National Conference of State Legislators, 21 states and the District of Columbia have decriminalized small amounts of marijuana, meaning in general that offenses are considered lesser civil infractions rather than violations of state law, or are misdemeanors for which there is no jail time. The State College measure originated with a proposal to the Borough Council in March from Louis Wolofo, then a Penn State senior. He was among a majority of speakers backing the idea during a May public hearing. The borough's administration recommended against the ordinance, citing complications enforcing it, but it passed by a 5-2 vote and was signed into law a week later by the mayor. Jesse Barlow, a borough council member and a professor of computer science and engineering at Penn State, said he long has favored the idea. I see a lot of bright kids, he said. I would hate to see one of them lose a scholarship over having an ounce of weed. I just think that's silly. Statistics presented to the council indicate marijuana enforcement is a far bigger issue for university police than for the borough. Last year, university police charged 178 individuals on or off campus with possessing a small amount of marijuana versus 33 charged by borough police. According to the testimony before council, had the ordinance been enforced that year, only a small share might have escaped criminal prosecution, officials said. Of the 33 charged, half were accused of at least one other misdemeanor or were stopped in municipalities patrolled by borough police where the ordinance is not enforced. That leaves 13 individuals who could have been eligible under the ordinance, though all but 4 received accelerated rehabilitative disposition a divisionary program under which a record can be expunged and loss of financial aid can be avoided. Really? Does it involve paying money? Because it sounds like it does. State College Policy Chief Tom King said he is comfortable conceptually with lesser penalties for a small amount of marijuana, but he would rather have a state law change than have penalties for the same offense vary by local jurisdiction. 2 days after the ordinance passed, said Mr. King, borough police got an inkling of what may lie ahead when an officer came upon 3 individuals with marijuana in the borough park. They said they lived in the resident halls on campus and that it's not allowed on campus. So they came down because borough council made it legal. He said, people are confused. Susan Reisling, executive director of the International Association of Campus Law Enforcement Administrators, said being able to issue citations actually could encourage greater enforcement of minor marijuana offenses. That's because it gives officers another tool to hold people accountable for their behavior, quote, without tying up the courts with a criminal prosecution that can leave a permanent mark on an individual. That sort of balancing act was on the minds of speakers during the May 2nd borough hearing. Council listened to perspectives ranging from college students and a defense attorney supporting reduced penalties to a mother worried about sending the wrong message. One speaker, Peter Morris of State College, reminded council of the arbitrary decisions society makes about what substances are dangerous enough to be controlled. Consider marijuana versus tobacco. You might say that in the long run, marijuana smoking is bad for your health. And it is, I'm sure, he said. But tobacco is legal, he added. Marijuana isn't. You know the thing about education? It's about trust. I keep saying that. What do I mean by it's about trust? Okay, it's not that I trust that my teacher isn't going to snitch on me because we're best friends. Oh no, that's not what I'm talking about. You trust that I am going to have the exact same behavior every single day. That if you are a student in the school where I am working as an employee, or as an educator, which I was not, or the aide to an educator, which I was, or a security guard, a counselor, bus driver, office worker, custodian, cafeteria worker, whatever the hell you are. You have to present yourself in the same way every single day in order to create calm. Because that's what we are trying to create for these children, even in college, is an island, an oasis of education. Kindergarten, a children's garden where they are safe to learn, where they can give trust and be assured that trust is going to be, cool. It's not going to be broken by some asshole. Setting up conflicting rules sets up children to fail. Now you can say that this is not necessarily your fault because of the conflicting rules that the federal government has. Well, the same goes to them. Education is about trust. Creating conflicting rules does not create an atmosphere of trust. Eventually, people will pick sides, and you will have a civil war on your hands because people will disagree on one side or the other of an issue, whether it's abortion, legalizing marijuana, who you're going to let use a bathroom. Eventually, people take sides. A house divided cannot stand. So, when you create conflicting rules within an education system, and you get students taking sides, that's mayhem. This can be instructive and a learning opportunity, a teaching opportunity. But to be honest with you, no, it's a fucking nightmare. Because now people are going to have teams and they're going to score points. And it tears an organization apart, a campus particularly. So take it from me. Creating rules that are confusing sets people up to fail. And then they don't like you anymore. And they have an opinion. And also being someone who was a union rep, what I can tell you is that if you're a bad guy who wants to control everything and keep all the sheep asleep, you don't poke them with the stick and piss them off. That's how they get up. They start reading their contract. They start asking questions and finding their site rep and wondering what they can do to make the stick poking stop. You're going to end up with a shitstorm on your hands. Just a little insight. Education's about trust. Not that you trust I'm not going to narc on you if you're an idiot. That you trust that every day you see me, I'm going to have the exact same behavior toward a reaction. I'm going to present the exact same set of rules, whether you like them or not, unlike the rest of the chaotic, fucked up world. Maybe you don't know if you're going to have food on the table at night, or your parents aren't going to fight, or the police aren't going to be at your house, but you know when you come to school what to expect. That's the kind of trust kids need to have. You don't create that with conflicting and confusing fucking rules. The rule is, for educators, that you create rules that are easy to understand, clear, concise, and with consequences you can actually enforce. And saying, I'll kill you if you do that, is not an enforceable consequence. Because now what are you going to do? Actually kill them? Don't be a moron. What's wrong with this entire situation? All of this. Don't you get it? You dig your own stupid hole of stupidity. And it aggravates the shit out of people like me. Because we got to sit here and watch the world just flay apart. You know, just fly apart. Because, you know, this thinking, this kind of thinking. So as we're going back to school, I want you all out there, all you stoners, to think about these young people in college. The things that they have to face with these ridiculous marijuana laws. The kinds of conversations that happen between parent and child, and how a father's heart can be broken because their sweet little daughter did something. No, Dad, you're a little asleep at the fucking wheel, maybe, huh? Do you know who your daughter's heroes are? You should watch that episode of The Simpsons where Homer's, do you know your kid? Are you a good father? Do you know what your kids' hobbies are? Do you know who their heroes are? Do you know who their friends are? Do you know what they like to do with their time? I'm not talking about whether or not they told you if they kissed a boy or they are still a virgin. Do you know simple shit about your kid? I just wish parents would worry about that crap way more than whether or not my kid's smoking pot. Because believe it or not, if you worried about that shit, you wouldn't have to fucking worry about whether or not your kids smoke pot, brainiac. I swear to God, I am so impatient with this kind of stupidity. All right. So that's my show. But right at the end, I wanted to say what a wonderful time we had with Freddie Pritchard last night coming back, and everybody was so happy, and Mudflap was happy, and Toasted Gentleman was happy, and Dennis was happy, and everybody was so happy. I wish T-Town Tim, I had kind of like sent him a link, through his Twitter, hoping maybe he saw that, but maybe he'll make it next week because I would love to see him in there. It would be so cool to have more people come in, But everybody's got stuff to do, and it's hard to sit around for a 4-hour show, particularly on a Sunday if you have something to do on Monday. But for all of us this is our thing right now, is organizing and talking about the politics of surrounding this cannabis plant and its many integral and fascinating aspects. I guess are good big words to use right there. Okay, for all of us, having Freddie back is like having our community back. He's a keystone. The minute he went right back in there, suddenly the whole fucking pyramid went right back up into shape. All the bricks that were laying on the ground went like that fucking Lego game. You could just see people. He had like 71 viewers last night. It was amazing. That's important. I was saying that viewing his show from the time he started his live show, and honestly, my opinion of Freddie when I first saw his videos was, wow, here's a crazy guy with a bunch of bombs. I don't know about this guy. But, then I was like, okay, get past your prejudices, Kelly. Find out what this dude's deal is, because they're all the usual tropes were there. Room full of bongs, the marijuana flags and posters in the background, all the usual, he's just kind of a stoner guy tropes were there. But once I started to watch his show and I realized what a really strong activist he was and how, he really felt very deeply and passionately about this subject, I was like, oh no, this is a great show. And then he was funny as shit, man. So it's been an adventure. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that we have created an adventuring team that shows up on Sundays to see this live show, get high, and talk about marijuana politics, listen to him, make jokes with each other, but then go off and look at each other's videos and talk online and get into I many times have been in forums somewhere reading through a discussion about marijuana legalization under some story or something, and use something I either saw somebody else from the comments in Freddie Pritchard's show used, or something that somebody referenced, or something Freddie used, or just my own personal experience. But I've seen other people reflect it. So it is kind of a house of mirrors, but it's how teams work. Everybody gives a little piece. Everybody's got different styles. Some people are far more aggressive. And want far more change. And I'm pragmatic. And then you got the dreamer, and all of these things. Usually I'm the dreamer, but in this case, I know how far we've come, how hard it's been to get here. So pragmatism seems to be my best friend in this entire marijuana fight. Wanting the moon, the stars, and everything is like what I'd love to have. But wow, getting that would be, if we got that, that would really blow me away. What do I mean by that? The moon, the stars, and everything. Like, for instance, if the FDA and the DEA and the federal government and Congress and everybody realize the drug scheduling system is fucking idiotic, just like the food pyramid was, just like the goddamn stupid terrorist code system was, and this is dreamed up based on who can pay financially to get on the certain tier that they want to get on for the drug system. And marijuana doesn't have the kind of lobbyists in government to get them on that tier 1, 2, or whatever tier that pays out like it does for oxycodone and all these other guys. Which to me says the whole fucking system is a goddamn nightmare. I saw another story where Reason TV was just starting to talk about it. Yeah, the drug scheduling system needs to be revisited. And the FDA, I'm sorry, not the DA, but the FDA is not necessarily our friends. Do you know how many years it was great to have sugar as a healthy part of your breakfast. And that was because the FDA was not approving studies to prove that fucking sugar was dangerous and was killing Americans. And corn syrup and all that shit, because they get money, man. They get a lobbyist motherfucker up there going, you know what? You can have a study, but make it inconclusive. Make it inconclusive. It's a fucking game up there. They ain't about science. Don't even listen to those bitches in the FDA saying they're about science. If they were, then why the fuck I gotta sit there watching commercials about how if you take this drug, that drug, or the other drug, your leg's gonna fall off, you're gonna grow a tail, horns will come out of your head, you may die, you know. But hey, it'll cure that leaky eye you've got, or whatever. You know, you won't shit as much. You won't have to pee as much. I don't know, whatever the fuck it is. You'll be able to dance again, you know, without having to worry about bathrooming too much or whatever it is. You know, why is that there? Because fucking FDA allows it. Every mother, son, and their brother gets to come out with, and it's always like, well, they're not letting us approve enough drugs that could help Americans. And then I get all these warnings. Is this your idea of helping? See, pharmaceutical fucking companies are nothing but fucking bitches. And, you know, the minute they start talking about all the good they do and the lives they save, that is the first thing when you should go, oh, I don't like you even talking like that. Shining your own shoe like that. Look at me polishing myself. I saved so many lives. I'm like a god. I don't like that kind of talk at all. I don't like the way the FDA has operated. And I've learned more about how they've operated because they're fucking in lockstep and locked arm in arm with the DEA. So now I'm learning about the FDA. Now, do you want this fucking nightmare to continue? Do you want me to keep just prying every goddamn fucking thing in the society apart with every show because you don't want to reschedule? Because this nightmare will continue for you, federal government. We will fucking WikiLeaks you right up your ass if you don't seriously start thinking about changing this shit. Ugh. So anyway, other than that, everything's been looking good. Our opponents in California have got nothing. I mean, let's see. Dianne Feinstein really tripped and fell on her face when she tried to bring up the whole issue about advertising on television, how Proposition 64 was going to allow more advertising on television. She literally shot herself in the foot because, number one, all you have to do is go, well, that's impossible because it's against federal law. And then they say, that means that if the federal government legalized marijuana, we would see ads on TV. Which is like, so you're admitting there's a chance that the federal government could legalize marijuana? Is that what Dianne Feinstein's admitting to me right now? This is worse than straw grasping. This is worse than flailing in a tar pit. Now they're just like throwing everything at me, the kitchen sink, and I'm like, thanks. Cool. You know, it's like keys to the car. Oh, hey, this is a wallet. Oh, why are you giving me this stuff? So when she said that she inferred that it would lead to more television ads that would influence children, and trying to laboriously argue that all the way to its ridiculous conclusion, you have actually helped our side, because what you're saying is that in order for this law to be further implemented to protect children, particularly against ads, the federal government would have to legalize. And then you're also saying, Dianne Feinstein, that by the chance the federal government legalizing, which would open up the chance for advertisements, you just admitted that there's a chance the federal government could drop marijuana prohibition across the country, not just in California. Boy. So right off the get-go, the starting gun shot off, then they came out there and they fell whack right on their face. It was a stunning, stunning fuck up. It was amazing. And it's kind of just, and they had that case, and the case was like, yeah, sure, you can say that if you have the winning lottery ticket, you may have won. No, if the federal government legalizes marijuana, then in the television markets that are like 79 or 80 or above % adult, which means late night, there may be marijuana ads someday in the distant future. You know, by just desperately trying to argue this point and make it rational, they fucked themselves. It was funny, you know. And now what have they got? I mean, all you hear is about, like, fires. We got the same shit here in California. Oh, suddenly, marijuana grows are causing fires. Fires everywhere. Yeah, hillbillies know about fires. Hillbillies know about fires. It ain't uncommon in, low-income white communities for people that you're having a feuding and a fussing with, okay, their house mysteriously burns down in the middle of the night. That ain't an uncommon thing. And the thing that see it happening with marijuana makes me go, is this in fact arson? Because you don't want a marijuana grow in your neighborhood? Because you got a competing lab? Is this in fact arson? Because maybe you got an extract lab and it's not making money, you know, and you're going broke, you haven't got any product shit, nobody's buying it. Maybe there's going to be a little BHO accident, you know. See what I'm saying? I don't know that you could get insurance on a lab or something, but it just seems like, what are all these fires about all of a sudden? All these years, 30 years for prohibition, and suddenly marijuana is causing fires everywhere. Where the fuck was this in the news before? And it ain't about BHO manufacture anymore. You got pictures of that. So, you know, I've seen pictures of people putting gas in their gas tank and the whole fucking gas station on fire because somehow he was smoking a cigarette too close to a gas tank. What do people say when they see those videos on TV? They go, look at that guy, he's an idiot. Don't they? So what do you think's going to happen with all of us when we see these BHO fires supposedly? We go, oh, look at that guy, what an idiot. He should have known what he was doing. I mean, that's all they've got. It's like innuendo shit's going on. Like, let's run a story about this, or how they found a skull near some marijuana grow, or, you know, somewhere in Timbuktu, or some fucking planet, or, you know, off in another galaxy. I don't know where the hell these things come from. But when you look up California marijuana, it's all the poo that floats to the top. Because right now, we're at a draw. Okay? Right now, we have beaten our opponents to a draw. So now, money's going to win. Because when you have argued your opponent in any state legislature on a ballot issue to a draw, it comes down to money. Will this cost us money? Will this make us money? This will make us buku fucking money. And it'll make us buku fucking money for a long time because the federal government is far, far away from legalizing marijuana, obviously. So the market is going to be there for a lot. We're going to have tourists from all over the world coming to California. Busloads of tourists coming from Japan, coming from Dubai, coming from all over because they want to try a little bit of that freedom. They want to see what's going on. They want to have a little taste of that hippie culture. They want to be able to go home with their friendship bracelet, telling their stories, man. They got a little something on their friends. Remember how maybe if you're not from California, but California in the 1970s and 80s, you would hear stories from surfers about drinking this shit called kava kava. There would be pictures in fucking Surfer magazine. Ooh, kava kava. I remember surfers always talking about it. Ooh, I tried kava kava. Kava kava is like a shit beer. I mean, it's like not good, fermented palm wine or something like this. I can't remember what it is. It's not, it's not good. But it was mysterious. See what I'm saying? And the surfers would go after these mysterious places, get pictures of themselves with these little coconut cups, getting wasted off of this cheap fucking fermented whatever it is, fruit or something like this, right? Hallucinogenic fermented fruit. I don't know what it is. Kind of headache high is what I heard about it, but I've never tried it personally. And they get pictures taken of them fucking drinking this shit, sitting around squatted by a fire. Kids would look at this in some fucking surfer magazine. This ain't even High Times. And be like, ooh, I'm going to try that. One day I'll do that. I would love to go do this someday. And then next thing you know, people are buying, as soon as they get into college, they get some money, or they get a career later on, their kids are still young, they're still surfing, they're buying plane tickets to fly out to these places to have these kinds of experiences for themselves. Coming home with their friendship bracelets or their trinkets or their stories. That's money, that sells. So we have beaten the opposition in California to a standstill on this. October's coming up. The only thing I can think of that they're going to talk about now is somehow marijuana and Halloween candy. And I've got a bat ready for their ass. I have been waiting a good 6 years for October to come up for a legalization battle again, because I remember the Halloween candy argument. And this time, boy, I'm going to send you to the moon with that. We already had the quinceanera marijuana exposure incident where, I don't know, tons of people were exposed to marijuana edibles, supposedly. And then, boy, that story just kind of vanished, didn't it? We didn't hear much more about what actually happened. So I'm waiting. Come bring me that stupid edible story and see if I don't just crush you right into the ground. I'm not kidding. That thing ain't got nothing on it. I'll hit right out of the park. You throw me that curveball you thought was so good, because I've been practicing against that bitch for 6 years, motherfucker. You better not bring it around again. Okay, so we're doing pretty good here in California. What will come of this, I have yet to see. I mean, obviously, localities can still ban it. Criticizing that is a very good point. However, I can still order marijuana, and it comes to my door, and I pay, and then we say thank you, and I get it back, and they drive away, and it's banned here. You know, I mean, what can you do? I mean, what all it means is that the city doesn't get any money. Zip, zap, zip, soap, nada. They're not participating in the market. They don't want to regulate. They don't want to be grown-ups. So they get none of the transactions that have transpired since they came up with the ban. And long before that, too. That's a lot of money just going down the tube all the time. And I should know. But see, they don't want to do the right thing, so they got to ask us for a sales tax increase. And I know people in this area just, we're not feeling it. We're not for the city anyway. Maybe for the schools, but not for the city. We're not feeling that. Not after you fucked up with Brooks Institute Not after an oil spill up here on this fucking hillside. Not after a ton of shit that you've been ignoring lately. Particularly not taking responsibility and banning medical marijuana dispensaries in this area. I sure as shit don't feel like supporting no half-cent sales tax or any kind of sales tax for nothing. You want money from me? Then you need to regulate dispensaries. Otherwise, bye. Yeah, that's what I got to say to that. And that's what's going to happen in every city and county in California. Is, oh, did you want something from me? Huh? Because I wanted something for you, and you didn't come through with it. So don't talk to me now about what you want. Because you ain't going to get it. Huh? And then my money's flying somewhere else. Someplace else is collecting the tax. Or not. But that money's going to someone else's coffers, not yours. Because you're not an adult. You don't handle your shit right. You know? So you can criticize the bans. I certainly have. But the fact is that the market is here now. The money's here. We've argued you to a standstill on the ridiculous scare tactics. And no matter what sort of NIMBY laws you come up with to try to ban things from being around this, that, or the other, we don't really care. Because we're going to win. And this is just going to be slow-ass Chinese water torture for you from now the fuck on. Because one thing we bring to this party is money. And you don't. Prohibitionists are nothing but a black hole that sucks money into the ground, never to be seen again, and produces nothing but ash. We bring money. What do you got? Money for us literally grows on trees. What do you got? Nothing. You better move on out of the way is what I know. You're just wasting your time and ours. But hey, I don't mind beating you some more if that's what you like. So you just keep on bringing this stupid shit to me. I serve this up hot and fresh. 180 days. 24/7. 5 days a week. Come and get some. Okay, so I'll let you go now. I guess I kind of got a little bit stoned from this. I'm definitely going to have to get some better weed. This is not even matured. I mean, you know, you can see trichomes, but they're like teeny. Like there's this like, oh, they're little tiny hairs. They're not even got the little bulb on the end, a glistening bulb. It's just, you could just see it starting to make. But still, I'm very happy. It doesn't taste bad. It's the plants look super healthy and happy. And I haven't had plants ever like this. So I'm feeling pretty proud of myself. Like the stalk is like this big around, I swear. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but I mean, it's big. And all the other stalks I ever had, I mean, you know, I mean, I was lucky if I got it that big. So I'm like, woo. I'm real happy. All right, so I'll let you go, and hopefully we'll have some more news for tomorrow, something less about education maybe, and Malia Obama, because I don't want to put her on blast all the time about her pot smoking or who her boyfriend is or what she's doing at Lollapalooza. Honestly, I don't fucking care. I mean, you know, she comes out with a career, I'll be like, cool, Malia Obama, I shall view this. I shall, so yay, for you, you know, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's not, I don't see why I need to care about this. And the only reason why this is cared about is because of stupid fucking federal law. And I hope to God that it's not true that Malia Obama's father can't walk next to her off of a plane because of the fucking federal law. I just can't even believe that would be true. You say hi and goodbye.
Busy setting up for their 151st state fair. But the exhibit generating the most buzz is a live display of marijuana plants. It's believed to be a first, and brings pot cultivation into the agricultural mainstream.
there will be additional security at the entrance to this greenhouse to control who comes in, who goes out. And again, they'll make sure that no one under the age of 21 enters the greenhouse where the plants are on display.
Oregonians voted to legalize recreational marijuana in 2014, and since then, the industry has grown deep roots. Judges at a cannabis growers event in the state capitol recently selected 9 plants for the state fair. They were judged on color, overall health, leaf structure, and more.
First thing is to make sure that they don't have infections, and then to look to see that they don't have nutrient deficiencies. This one looks like it might be infected. There's something about this color.
And winners can't have any flowers when on show between August 26th and September 5th.
It's pretty awesome to be judging cannabis plants that are going to go into an actual state fair, which is kind of gives me goosebumps even talking about it.
The contest was a first for growers who agonized about how to produce a winner. Greg Siebert, head farmer at Synergy Farms, helped nurture a plant that took home second place in the indica category.
You want a plant that's wide rather than tall, of course, for production.
A hydroponic marijuana farm called Uplifted won 2 of the 3 blue ribbons. Recreational pot remains illegal in 46 states and under federal law. But while not everyone approves of this unorthodox display, Cox says the novelty is part of the point.
It is a showcase for traditional things, and yet it's always been a showcase for the new and the different and the innovative.
A showcase where pot growers are eager to take center stage. Gillian Flackis, Associated Press, Salem, Oregon.
Stream 60 Minutes commercial free.